Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shanna Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology, and instructional coach for my district.
And I'm her producer and husband, Fuzz Martin. And hey, Shanna, how do you learn more about turkeys on Thanksgiving?
I don't know how.
Google. I learned about that at a Piggly Wiggly grocery store line. They had grocery store TV, and that joke was on the screen. And I thought, you know what? We're talking about search stuff today, and I'm gonna
use that one.
I'm gonna lean on that. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks to the Piggly Wiggly in Campbellsport, Wisconsin.
I don't know if anyone understands. A Piggly Wiggly is a grocery store, and it is
probably the most Midwest thing you could ever imagine. So
it is. It's a fabulous grocery store.
It is.
They're all locally owned, and they're wonderful. And you can buy T-shirts with pigs on the front.
And the pig butt on the back with a little curly tail. Yep. So, all fun.
All right.
But here we are.
We are using search engines today, or kind of learning about search engines today. Season 6, episode 166. We have some fun and exciting tools for you today. We are going to talk about searching made easy. I have found, I don't know, not recently, but over the last, I don't know, we'll say like 6 months or so, more and more teachers are asking for ways that their students can research independently with inquiry projects and making sure that students have choice and they want to build in these things. And I know last season or a few episodes back, we talked about encyclopedias for kids. And so this is another section of sites that will be helpful for students to be searching independently and offering like tools for kids to use while doing inquiry or different search and research projects and things like that. So I was really excited because I've used some of these before, but I've never talked about them on the podcast. And I thought, you know what? We should, because I was sharing them with some teachers just the last week.
Great.
So our first site is called Kiddle.
Can
K-I.
you give us a little bits about Kiddle? Sorry.
No. All right. So Kiddle, Kiddle.co, Kiddle.co is a search site, which is great and helpful when the kids are searching. But what's interesting about Kiddle is, well, one thing is they always have a little trivia question each day, which we appreciate. But it's a way for students to be able to research topics and have their information pulled up for them quickly and in a safe visual search for kids. So there's not random things coming up. I, as a social studies teacher, when I'm doing that part of my job, oftentimes we're searching all kinds of things and random stuff pops up because in history, you get all kinds of images and research and connections to things. And you're like, hey, yeah, let's just move past that because that's not appropriate. So I need a random topic to search. What do you got?
The bubonic plague.
Okay.
You never like the ideas that I give you on the fly.
Well, you give me things that I have to like think about how to spell.
Oh.
And
you could just type in the Black Plague.
Yep.
There you go.
Got it. And I even typed in bubonic.
Oh, nice.
And it was appropriate. Black Death Facts. Black Death Facts for kids. So, and it pulls up DK Find Out, which is a site that we had talked about before.
Yep.
And then goes right through and pulls up all kinds of student-friendly search sites and or articles. So from Library of Congress and from DK Kids and Kids Kiddle things. So these sites will come up with things that are student-friendly. What's cool is, so I gave like just a web search. You can also search just facts. So if kids pick the fact button, it will pull up facts specifically for kids and everything is going to be kid-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also have the image search, which is nice, which again is going to be like historical and things like that. What I like about Kiddle is when you're using the site and you're searching, they also have the Kiddle. It's when you search the facts portion, it's a kid's encyclopedia of facts. So often I have kids searching like specific cities.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, I'm going to type in Milwaukee
Okay.
So when you search specific cities, it'll give you like featured sites. It'll give you all the history behind it as you need to. And it's very clear. So like Milwaukee Facts for Kids from Kids Encyclopedia, it'll list the history of it. You can then search through content. So it will give you like, do you want geography of the city? Do you want demographics of the city? Do you want the economy? Do you want the culture? So it pulls those pieces in a very clear format. So when kids are researching, if they're just researching, maybe they have to do the geography of it, they can go right to that section and that's what it gives them.
Mm-hmm.
I know as I have 8th graders, but younger students, it's the harnessing of all of the information that gets to be really difficult because it's so much information and they don't know where to start for the small portion that they need. So what's cool about Kiddle is that it will then, especially in the encyclopedia part, break down what information do you need. So it'll give you historic neighborhoods if that's what you're going to be searching. It will give you like the cityscape. It will give you the climate and it puts that into a section for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so overwhelming with knowledge and information, I guess, which I think is very helpful as a teacher.
It's really well laid out.
Are you searching things? I can tell.
I'm looking at the Milwaukee page.
And searching through.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's laid out in a very kid-friendly way. It also links them to different vocabulary, which is helpful. So Kiddle, as when you're searching, you can also search just images directly, like I said before, and then the facts section is going to be like the encyclopedia section, which is awesome. Also, something that's newer for Kiddle that they've added is there is a section in Spanish. So you can search specifically in Spanish and it will lead you through without having to have a translator or anything on there. So that's pretty helpful for several of our students as well. So Kiddle, super easy search engine when you're researching and doing inquiry and friendly for kids. So there's not all the random things.
Yep.
Like when you're searching the bubonic plague, in all your free time, that information.
You can't judge me. You asked me for a historical topic, and that was the first one that came up. I don't know why.
I don't either. But Kiddle. So Kiddle is very helpful for all of our kiddos when it comes to searching and doing inquiry. So check out Kiddle.
Kiddle.
I feel like you just can start like singing a song about Kiddle on your fiddle. And you can just like keep on going.
Yes, I'm going to play Kiddle on my fiddle right after the show.
Great.
Yeah.
Maybe you could come up with something by the end of the show.
Purchased a fiddle for Christmas for myself.
Yes.
So. And really for you and the rest of the family to enjoy my music.
Can't wait. So Kiddle's our first search. We have 2 more because I was just collecting them as I was going. And while I try to stick to 1 to 2 topics, we all know sometimes I get excited about stuff. So the second search site and or helpful research section for our kiddos is beyond Kiddle. This one is called Kidtopia. So it's Kidtopia, KIDTOPIA.info. Kidtopia is another cool search that you can use. And when you're using Kidtopia, you could choose something like, let's choose something simple. We're going to search turtles.
Turtles, okay. I was going to do the stock market crash in 1929.
Yes, so turtles.
But turtle. Let's do turtles.
So you search turtles, you'll come up with like sponsored sites at the top. But what Kidtopia does, it takes away like the extra images along the sides, which is helpful.
Yep.
It does have more ads. So I just forewarn everybody, like Kidtopia does have more ads that come up, but the search there is still very clear. So like sea turtles, and it brings you right to the World Wildlife Fund. So that comes up with their research. It's going to come up with Smithsonian's research, Britannica Kids research. And so you can just click on the articles right away, and it takes me to Kids Britannica. So that way, all the information is there. You just choose your topic, and then reliable sites are going to come up. Now, what I have taught my students, and it's still important for them to understand, is that even though you're searching and it's a kid-friendly site to search, you still need to be aware of information that you need. You know, so when we go through our media literacy stuff, like, is this information that is like pure facts, or is this going to be like opinionated? So just things to pay attention to with kids. But when you're doing Kidtopia, you can search easily. There's other options as well. So there's the Kidtopia fact section. So you can click on that, and that's pretty cool because it's just going to give you facts about dinosaurs, and that pulls up like information from like the dictionary and dinosaurs.com and DK Find Out, which we've talked about before. You can click on geography. So Kidtopia Facts just pulls up cool information, and they have a fact retriever, and it will just give you cool like 38 towering giraffe facts. Go. And that comes right from Fact Retriever. So it's cool because they have then a search section that just gives you cool information for all our kids that like to know lots of facts about stuff in the world. And then they do have sections in Kidtopia that are content specific. So you can search science and social studies, the arts, animals, biographies. If you click on biographies, it will then break it down by artists and astronauts and explorers. And I just picked explorers, and then it has like a little video. Okay. And then it will give you different link sites to explorers with DK Find Out and Ducksters and things like that. So it's another way for kids to search, and it takes them to other kid-friendly search sites, which is really helpful, especially if you're having kids search for a project or biographies or like science exploration. It's going to be there by category, which I know a lot of times that's helpful. And there's a lot of visuals for our younger students or our students that need our visuals. Mm-hmm. Those are going to be in there, which helps as well. So there are those options for Kidtopia as well. I've also noticed too, so if you go into like social studies, it will then break it down by like world history or U.S. history. Those options are in there. And then sometimes too, when you're in Kidtopia, it will give you crafts or coloring pages. So there's additional resources for kids in there too, besides just researching. So there's other information about topics. They have like dance, and then they have learning dances, and then the chicken dance, and they have a video. And so it leads just to all kinds of not just information and research, but also other things that kids would be interested in on kidtopia.info.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun. You feel like you're learning lots? I see like brains clicking, turtles, bubonic plague. The arts.
Went down a deep turtle hole. Yeah.
The chicken dance.
Yeah. And here I'm back now.
You're back from turtles?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. The last one that I'm going to talk about, this one is more straightforward, I feel like, than the other two. Kiddle it's got its little robot, and it's like cutesy. And then you got Kidtopia, which is a lot of visuals for kids. And then Sweet Search is a search engine for students. This, I would focus a little bit older crowd that we still want to check with their searching. So Sweet, SWEET, search, SEARCH.com. And this is going to be pretty straightforward. So if we're going to search the term
Panda bears.
I was going to say computer, but we'll do pandas.
Okay.
So we're going to search our pandas. It's going to come up with all kinds of articles about pandas. It starts with our sponsored searches, but then again, it'll take you right into the world of pandas. What's interesting about Sweet Search is this one will also give you news-related sites. So it's not just going to be pulling like research-based sites. So it will pull in news. You also have the option on the search page on the front. You can just search, but you can search news specifically.
Okay.
So if you want like pandas in the news, you can go ahead and type pandas in the news. And when you search the news portion, the color switches to green. So they are kind of color coded.
I see. Okay.
And then it will give you all of the times that pandas are searching in the news. Now, why I say this one is better for older students is it will search directly and it doesn't have ads on it, but it will give all kinds of content that is going to be pandas in the news. But this one talks about Saturday Night Live. So like it will give you all kinds of information to search, and it's not necessarily going to be friendly for younger students. So that's something to note, that Sweet Search will be very direct about no ads and things like that.
Yep.
But it will give you all the news articles or all of the history that you're searching. It's not going to filter out like specific topics or things like that. So that's just something to note, that this one would be for older students when they are searching and or with teacher guidance for sure. Sweet Search history, you can search shipwrecks. And if I am Sweet Searching history, which is the other option to pick from, this will then go through and give me all kinds of like shipwrecks from the Minnesota Historical Society, and shipwrecks like world's best dive sites, and shipwrecks in the Padre Islands. So all kinds of cool ways to find shipwrecks in history, and you can search that as well. So something to note with Sweet Search too, you can choose to do news or history. Gets away the ads and all of the extra stuff, but you still got to check for the articles if they're going to be age appropriate just because of the content in them.
Yeah, I can see that. So it seems like Kiddle.co is probably the most buttoned up
for like elementary, younger students for independent searching.
Yeah. And then kind of
Kidtopia is going to give you a little more freedom. It's going to have more images and connections, but there's just extras in that one. And then Sweet Search would be just like middle school, high school.
Below Google in terms of how much you have to pay attention to it.
Yeah. So that one you're going to need to still check it out. It filters away ads and those extra things, but not necessarily the content.
Sure.
So there you go.
All right. Very good.
Now you can search things.
I can
search things beyond the Google.
Yes.
With your kids to give them a little independence while they're researching and inquiring about new things in their classrooms, and hopefully give them some independence while they're working as well.
Very good. If you want to learn about the bubonic plague or pandas or turtles
or shipwrecks
or
anything else that you want to learn about.
Yeah, really.
There's all kinds of cool biographical information in there too.
Agreed. This internet, man. I think it's probably going to stick around.
It might. We'll see. So we won't be around next week because it's a break week, but then we'll be back in December.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Where did the year go?
Craziness. Well, I hope everybody does. Those of you that do have break, enjoy break. And if you don't have break, I hope you find some time to take a break. Thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on the app formerly known as Twitter @SmartNWI or on Threads. And if you want to get more information on the links to the technology discussed in this episode, visit smartandwi.com. Also, shout out to all the Ed campers in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know who got the cool coffee mug and all the extra stuff from the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, but thanks for listening. I appreciate it. If you'd like to support the show, please consider buying me a coffee or two. Visit buymeacoffee.com/smartandwi or visit smartandwi.com and click on that cute little purple coffee cup. Your donations help keep this show going. New episodes each week, unless we're taking a break. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast and the Smart and WI website are those of the author, Shanna Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed on this podcast, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we sure hope they do. And we'll talk to you next time right here on the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast.